I'm not going to pull the float out. It's on the spring. I'm not replacing it or anything, so there's no real reason to pull that out of there. Just leave it alone, since the adjustment is made in the needle valve. Most other carburetors, you would bend a tab on the top of the float to adjust the float level. You screw in the needle valve and adjust it that way. It's got the screw and the lock nut in the top of it. I'm going to replace this accelerator pump diaphragm here, and I did match that up to make sure, but once I get this off here I'll be able to tell a lot more, and positively is the same. Okay, it is this one. This one looks a little taller. But I don't think it's got. Now I'm under here, there might be spring loaded. There should be a spring holding that back. So I want to be very careful when I get this off here, not to let that spring go flying away or something. And there is a one-way check valve in here that is rubber. And I did not remember seeing, yes, there is one there in that package. So I got to pull it out, make sure it's the right diameter and everything. Yes, okay. I might have to pull that spring under the, no, I can get under there, okay. So this is a rubber one. I just broke that piece off, which tells me it was dry rotted, so it needed to be replaced. So I'll get that old piece of rubber diaphragm off her check valve. What this does, basically, you see two passages in there. You see three holes, two small ones and the one in the middle, a big one. I don't know if you can actually see it in that camera or not. But what this piece of rubber does, it's got a notch, so when you stick it in there, it holds it in there. You gotta pull on the other side a little bit. Get the spring held out all the way. It'd been easier if I'd have pulled this spring, but it's no big deal. There, I can get the spring out that way, or at least out of the way. Little pair of needle nose, grab a hold of that rubber and just pull it. I might have to pull that and just pull it to where that notch seats down in the top. There we go. See how it is seated down in there now. Get my float spring back in place. And what that rubber does is this thing pushes in, it'll close those two holes off to not let any fuel out. And with that spring in there, when it comes back, it'll suck that open and suck fuel in there. While fuel's in there, when it pushes down, the fuel will go out through this hole and come into the venturi. Now I gotta get the spring back in here. Accelerator pump diaphragm goes there. And that goes there. Now make sure when you put that on, you don't put it on the wrong way. If you put it on this way, it ain't gonna work. Make sure this is sticking out, because it has a piece of linkage from the accelerator linkage that will push that up and down as the gas pedal is pushed in and out, pushed and released. So my little screws will hold that together. Be careful when you're putting your screws in, your gasket holes are lined up, especially on a diaphragm or something rubber, because if you tear it, you screwed yourself. And sometimes the hole's small enough where threads get wrapped in it and it twists it around and will tear your screw hole out. So like I do here, I hold this piece down tight, and that way it's gonna keep it from doing that. I don't know if I was in frame there or not. But anyway, what I was saying, if you hold it down tight like this, when you put that, any kind of rubber or a diaphragm under there, then start putting your screws in. That way when that screw twists, if that hole's a little smaller, it won't twist this corner out and mess up your gasket. There we go. Yep, and I can feel that accelerator pump when I push this. I can feel there. This fuel inlet, I don't see a reason other than just to replace the gaskets to pull that off of there. At this moment, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet or not. So let's find our first needle and seat, open it up.
Go ahead.
And it goes like that. Screws down in, then you're going to need your nut. And this one's got some old gasket stuck to it, so I'll have to clean it off. Okay, have my gasket on. I got that nut cleaned off, and you can tell it only fits on there one way. It's notched or oblonged, so it can turn that needle and seat in and out as you adjust it. Then we have our gasket and our top screw. And it goes in the top of the needle and seat like that. The toe of this float has to be 7/32 from is the top, but looking at it now, it looks like the bottom. See that float drop down in there, and from the bottom the toe is still just a little bit high. Anytime you're working on a carb and you can't find specs on what a float level should be, set it level and 9% of the time you'll be good to go. Now to lock this down, I think I need to come right like that. Lock the screw down, and that float level is set. Okay, so that side is ready to go. Now the back side, take it apart the same way. This 5/8 wrench, screw it out of there. You don't need the valve, just the nut and the screw now at this point. Loosen the screw. And the old needle and seat I'll just throw in the box. And there's the other one here. Screw the new one in there. Make sure that rubber O-ring is in place there. The new gaskets. And on this one, you can see one gasket's bigger than the other one. The big one goes under the nut. And the little one goes under the screw. I think I'll, oops. Yeah, best I can tell, there's no upside down or right side up to that nut. Oh, that's not what I want to screw in there. There it is. And you see that's all the way down, so that floats way too high. There. 5/16 is our measurement we want to do from the toe